Now let's talk about summary of motor failures. Why do we even need to do predictive maintenance? Well, as you can see here from this EPRI study, majority we have quite a few mechanical issues, but there's also electrical issues that we have to be concerned with, being 10% rotor and 37% stator. So it's very important that we have a firm understanding of what's causing these problems. So you need a technology in place to be able to identify these issues before they become catastrophic. Why even do a reactive or a predictive maintenance program? Well, we can see here if we're in a reactive mode, i.e. we're just waiting for that motor to fail, regardless of the time, regardless of the situation that you may be in. You may be on right before a heavy production load and the motor fails, causing the production line to go down, causing increased tension, loss of dollars. Well, if you're running that mode, it could be $17 per horsepower. If you're preventive maintenance, basically doing a time-based strategy on your motors, you could lower that significantly to $12 per horsepower. But if you're predictive and you're using predictive technologies, you can see a further reduction in your cost per horsepower down to about $8 per horsepower. In today's highly competitive market, it's important to have a firm grasp of what's happening in your plant, what's happening in your maintenance for your assets, and by employing a predictive strategy, you can severely lower your overall maintenance costs. So let's talk about the benefits of MC Emax. How can the MC Emax benefit you? Well, obviously number one is financial. As with any technology that you bring into your facility, you have to show financial benefits, a return on investment. Well, we expect to see a reduction in unexpected motor failures. If we understand the condition of our motors, if we do a quality assurance check before we accept a motor, we know we're accepting a clean, healthy motor, placing it into a clean, healthy power circuit, and we're trending that motor through time, we should not have any unexpected motor failures. We should be able to plan for those motor failures so that they don't happen at 2 a.m. at night or at the most inconvenient time for a motor failure to occur. Well, less downtime, better scrap material control, less loss of inventory. So maybe we don't have to keep multiple spares in our warehouse, keeping a high inventory cost rate. In today's time when we're trying to reduce our expenses, keeping a lower inventory can certainly help us do that. Improve quality assurance. As I mentioned earlier, if we're doing a QA check before we accept this motor, we know that we've been given a healthy, clean motor. Well, then we're certain that it's going to go into this motor circuit, and we expect it to operate in a healthy condition throughout the time. But if we're given a motor and we don't know the condition of it, and we place it in there, well, then there's always that risk that we may not have received a healthy motor, or that there was a problem with the installation of the motor. And then lastly, we're going to talk about energy cost analysis. In today's day and age where we're seeing higher energy costs, we want to make sure that the motors that are operating as efficiently as possible. So we want to ensure that it's the proper efficiency, it's operating in the right load range, and if there is an opportunity to possibly change to a higher efficiency motor, we provide the tools to be able to calculate the benefits of that. Some cases it's a good idea to change to a higher efficiency motor. Some cases it may not be. Now let's talk about our customer list. Should you be on this list? These are the customers that we serve, and they are a broad group of industries that utilize our technology, from service, pulp and paper, petrochemical, power utilities, manufacturing. All of these customers have seen the benefits of utilizing the MC Emax in their electric motor predictive maintenance program. Now let's talk about some of our other modules that we'll be discussing later on. Like I said, this is just an introduction to MC Emax, the benefits of the MC Emax. But what PDMA does differently and uniquely is we try to break that motor down into 6 digestible fault zones, starting with the power circuit, insulation, rotor, air gap, stator, and power quality. And when we dissect these motors into these fault zones, we can start to get a better feel for what is the condition of each of these fault zones. And if we see adverse trends occurring, we can alert you early in the fault cycle so that we can reduce the chances of it being catastrophic. So it's important to break these motors down into these 6 fault zones, get comprehensive data regarding each of these fault zones, and being able to trend that over time and looking for any adverse conditions that